Brother Sam knew Dexter's darkest secret. He was a serial killer. But how did he figure it out when no one else could? Sam wasn't just another preacher. His own troubled past gave him a sharp eye for spotting the things others missed. With Dexter, the signs were there. Small, but impossible to ignore for someone like Sam. In this video, we'll break down the clues that gave Dexter away, why Sam believed he could still be saved, and the big question, if Sam knew, why didn't he stop him? Let's dive in. Brother Sam's first encounter with Dexter wasn't just a handshake. It was a revelation. The moment their hands met, there was an intensity in Sam's gaze, one that seemed to pierce through Dexter's carefully constructed facade. "I see a light in you," Sam said, his voice steady and calm, "but it's buried under a lot of darkness." At first, those words seemed like the typical encouragement you'd expect from a preacher, a man who believed in redemption for everyone. But what if they were more? What if, in that brief moment, Sam wasn't simply offering hope but identifying something deeper, a storm raging within Dexter that few could ever perceive? For Dexter, it was uncomfortable. He'd spent years perfecting his mask, presenting himself as the charming and composed forensic expert, the devoted father and brother. Most people saw only what he allowed them to see. But Sam wasn't most people. Dexter brushed off the comment as naive optimism. He'd heard similar words before from those who thought they could fix him. But there was something different about Sam. This wasn't about fixing Dexter. It was about truly seeing him. And that's what unsettled Dexter the most. Brother Sam wasn't quick to judge, but he was a man who had lived in darkness himself. His past had taught him how to read people in ways that went beyond surface impressions. Years of surviving the harshest environments had sharpened his instincts, and when he looked at Dexter, he saw the signs others missed. Dexter's uncanny ability to keep people at a distance, his reluctance to form genuine emotional connections, the strange calm he exuded in situations involving death. None of these were just quirks. To Sam, they were flashing red lights. Do you remember the moment when Sam spoke about his own violent past? He described the mindset of someone consumed by anger and hatred, the cold calculation, the detachment from humanity. These weren't just abstract ideas to Sam. They were scars from a life he'd left behind. When he looked at Dexter, he didn't just see a man with secrets. He saw someone navigating the same darkness he had once lived in. The calculating eyes, the precise movements, the controlled demeanor masking inner chaos. It all felt too familiar. But here's where Sam's reaction diverges from what most would expect. Recognizing someone's darkness typically triggers fear, self-preservation, or even hostility. But not for Sam. Instead of stepping back, he stepped closer. He didn't see Dexter as a threat to be avoided. He saw him as a man in need of help. What made Brother Sam so unique was his refusal to let fear dictate his actions. He knew the risks, yet he chose compassion over caution. He wasn't blind to the danger, but he believed that even the most broken souls deserved a chance at redemption. But why? Why would Sam, who had every reason to avoid someone like Dexter, make the choice to embrace him? Was it faith? Hope? Or was it the recognition of his own past, reflected in Dexter's struggle? Here's something to think about. If you met someone like Dexter, someone whose darkness felt almost tangible, what would you do? Would you step closer, risking yourself in the hope of saving them? Or would you turn away, protecting yourself from the unknown? Brother Sam made his choice. He chose to believe in the possibility of light, even in the darkest places. It was a choice that most wouldn't have made, but for Sam, it wasn't just an act of faith. It was a reflection of who he was. And in that moment, as he extended his kindness to Dexter, he set the stage for everything that would follow. Brother Sam's belief in redemption wasn't just a comforting philosophy. It was forged through his own journey from darkness to light. He had lived a life of crime, anger, and survival, seeing the world as a brutal battlefield. But through determination and second chances, he found faith and purpose, transforming himself against all odds. When Sam looked at Dexter, he didn't see a monster. He saw a man trapped, imprisoned by pain, trauma, and a rigid code that provided order but no freedom. Sam recognized the struggle because he had lived it. "You're not what you do," Sam told Dexter. "You are what you choose to become." These words carried weight because they came from experience, not naivety. Sam believed that Dexter wasn't beyond saving. Unlike killers driven by malice or greed, Dexter's actions stemmed from pain and a twisted sense of justice. Beneath the darkness, Sam saw a man who yearned to be free. He believed in Dexter's potential because he had found redemption himself. If no one believed in Dexter, how could Dexter ever believe in himself? But was Sam's faith misplaced? Dexter wasn't an ordinary man battling flaws. He was a serial killer, his identity entwined with taking lives. Could someone like him truly change? Sam chose to believe that redemption wasn't about erasing the past, but building a new future. Even the smallest steps toward light for Sam were worth fighting for. In the end, Sam's belief posed a challenge. Could Dexter see himself the way Sam saw him? Or was the light Sam saw destined to remain buried? For Dexter, it wasn't just about whether he could change. It was about daring to believe that change was even possible. Faith was the foundation of Brother Sam's life, but it wasn't rigid or judgmental. It was raw, compassionate, and forged through his own struggles. Sam's faith wasn't about achieving perfection. It was about persistence, believing in the light even when surrounded by darkness. Dexter, however, resisted connection. Guarded and dismissive, he pushed away Sam's attempts to reach him. But Sam didn't give up. His approach wasn't about forcing change. It was about offering Dexter something he had never been given, a way out of the darkness. Sam's persistence wasn't tied to instant results. He was planting seeds, trusting they might one day grow. The contrast between them was stark. Dexter lived by a code of killing, controlling chaos through death. Sam lived by a code of forgiveness, finding peace by letting go of his own pain. Despite their opposing paths, Sam saw a reflection of himself in Dexter, understanding what it meant to live in a self-made prison. Sam's belief in redemption wasn't about guarantees. It was about effort. He believed that showing compassion, even to someone seemingly beyond saving, was never wasted. His faith wasn't rooted in certainty but in hope. In the end, Brother Sam's greatest gift was his belief in the possibility of change. Whether or not Dexter embraced it, Sam's refusal to give up set him apart. In a world defined by cynicism, Sam's unwavering hope remains a powerful legacy. Brother Sam's belief in Dexter's potential for redemption was unwavering, but Dexter himself wasn't convinced. His life revolved around his dark passenger, a force he believed defined him entirely. To Dexter, escaping that darkness wasn't just impossible, it was unimaginable. Yet Sam saw more than a killer. He saw a man burdened by pain, isolation, and a longing for something more. Sam planted a tiny seed of doubt in Dexter's mind, challenging the notion that he was only his darkness. This inner conflict came to life when Dexter's son, Harrison, was hospitalized. Sam visited, offering his unshakable faith and telling Dexter, "Ask, and you shall receive." Dexter dismissed Sam's faith as naive, but later, a frustrating moment with a broken coffee machine pushed him over the edge. Overwhelmed by Harrison's condition, Dexter did the unthinkable. He prayed, a raw and desperate plea for help. And then, as if in response, the coffee machine suddenly whirred to life. For a moment, Dexter froze. Was it coincidence? Or had something greater heard him? The timing was too perfect to ignore, leaving Dexter questioning everything Sam had said about faith and belief. Sam's influence grew in their conversations. When Dexter admitted to struggling with anger, Sam responded, "You're fighting a battle, and you don't have to fight it alone." For someone who believed he was utterly alone, these words struck deep. Could he believe in redemption? Or was he clinging to Sam's faith as a lifeline? Dexter's steps toward change were small and fleeting. The pull of his darkness was strong, but Sam's belief showed him glimpses of a different path. It wasn't about instant transformation. It was about the possibility of it. In the end, Sam's faith planted a seed of hope in Dexter, a reminder that, even in the darkest moments, light could exist. Whether Dexter could fully embrace that light remains the haunting question. Imagine an alternate reality where Brother Sam confronted Dexter head-on. Picture it, Sam standing firm, looking into Dexter's eyes, saying, "I know who you are. I know what you've done." Would Dexter, who spent his life guarding his darkest truths, crumble, or see Sam as a threat and silence him like so many others? Dexter's history shows what happens when someone gets too close. Doakes, Miguel Prado, Lila, all became collateral damage. For Dexter, it was survival, not personal. If Sam had pushed too hard, he might have met the same fate. But Sam wasn't like anyone Dexter had encountered. He wasn't a rival or investigator. His goal wasn't exposure or justice. It was redemption. Confrontation couldn't achieve that. Instead, Sam chose trust, creating a space for Dexter to reflect and grow. Had he accused Dexter outright, it would have fortified Dexter's walls rather than breaking them down. Sam's choice wasn't without risk. He likely understood the danger of pushing too far, not only endangering his life, but also jeopardizing Dexter's fragile hope for change. Faith gave Sam courage, but it didn't make him fearless. Perhaps he feared what Dexter might do, or feared confronting the full extent of Dexter's darkness. Sam's decision to avoid confrontation wasn't about fear, it was about faith. His patience allowed Dexter to trust him, something that direct confrontation never could have achieved. But it also left Dexter's secret intact, enabling his dark path to continue. Had Sam chosen a direct approach, their story, and Sam's life would have ended differently. This scenario doesn't just challenge Dexter's character, it challenges us. Would we confront a dark truth knowing the cost? Or, like Sam, would we hope even the darkest souls can find light? When Brother Sam lay dying, his voice weak, he turned to Dexter with 2 words: forgive him. At first, it seemed like a plea to forgive the man who shot him, but the meaning ran far deeper. Sam wasn't just asking Dexter to forgive others, he was urging him to forgive himself. For Dexter, this was uncharted territory. His life had been built around suppressing emotions and justifying actions through Harry's code. Self-reflection and forgiveness didn't fit into his rigid framework. To forgive himself would mean confronting the pain and guilt he had buried beneath layers of control. Could he truly let go of the darkness that defined him? Sam's plea wasn't about an immediate transformation. It was an invitation to take the first step toward healing. Forgiveness, as Sam understood it, wasn't about erasing the past, but choosing to move forward despite it. It was a chance to break free from the chains of anger and regret. Even after Sam's death, Dexter struggled with this idea. He hesitated to seek vengeance on Nick, the man who killed Sam, briefly honoring Sam's wish for forgiveness. But Dexter's darkness reasserted itself, and he ultimately succumbed to his rage. This conflict revealed a deeper truth. Dexter didn't believe he deserved redemption. Sam's final words weren't a demand, but a gift, a seed of hope that Dexter could be more than his darkness. Whether Dexter embraced it fully or not, that seed left a lasting mark. Forgiveness, in Sam's eyes, was a possibility that Dexter had to choose for himself. In the end, Sam's legacy wasn't about changing Dexter overnight. It was about leaving him with the belief that change, however small, was possible. Whether that belief took root remains one of Dexter's most haunting unanswered questions. Brother Sam's death wasn't just another loss for Dexter, it was a turning point. It shattered the careful compartmentalization Dexter used to separate his emotions from his actions. Losing someone who had believed in him so deeply forced Dexter to face questions he'd long avoided. For a fleeting moment, Dexter considered leaving his code behind, the rigid framework justifying his darkness. Sam's unwavering faith in redemption planted a dangerous seed of hope. Could Dexter truly live free from the shadow of his darkness? This inner conflict reached its peak when Dexter confronted Nick, Sam's killer. Standing face to face with him, Dexter hesitated for the first time. Sam's voice echoed in his mind, urging him to break the cycle of vengeance. For a moment, Dexter spared Nick, honoring Sam's legacy. But when Nick taunted him, the darkness surged back. In a moment of rage, Dexter drowned Nick, a release of his anger and inner torment, as much about vengeance as silencing his own conflict. This act revealed the paradox of Dexter's struggle. He wanted to honor Sam's belief in him, but his darker instincts held him back. Sam's death didn't free Dexter, it deepened the tension between who he was and who he could have been. Yet Sam's influence lingered as a quiet voice, challenging Dexter to see himself as more than a killer. Something Harry's code never offered: hope. For Dexter, Sam's faith was both a gift and a burden. It offered a glimpse of light but underscored how deeply he was rooted in darkness. The real tragedy wasn't Dexter's failure to change, it was his inability to believe he could. Sam's death mirrored Dexter's deepest struggles, leaving us to question, can anyone truly change? And what does it take to step into the light when darkness feels all-consuming? Here's the big question. Why are we so fascinated by Dexter's story? Why do we root for a man who lives in darkness, even as he struggles to find the light? Maybe it's because we see a bit of ourselves in him. We all have moments of doubt, times when we question who we are and what we're capable of. And just like Dexter, we look for people like Brother Sam, people who see the good in us, even when we can't see it ourselves. So, what do you think? Was Brother Sam right to believe in Dexter? Or was his faith misplaced? In the end, Brother Sam was more than just a preacher. He was a symbol of hope, redemption, and the belief that even the darkest souls can find the light. Dexter may not have embraced Sam's message, but it left a mark on him, a mark that would stay with him long after Sam was gone. And maybe that's the real power of Brother Sam's story. It's not about whether he succeeded or failed, it's about the fact that he tried. So here's the final question. If you met someone like Dexter, would you have the courage to believe in them like Brother Sam did? Or would you walk away knowing the risks? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into Dexter's world. See you in the next one.